Hey, my name is Ria Waller, and I'm teaching CIT93 JavaScript starting in August 10th officially here at Fresno City College 100% online. But today is actually not the start of the semester. Today is July 17th before the start of the semester, so a little short of a month away. Now, the reason you're getting this message, and I actually have on the announcements that you're going to see when you in your Canvas email, is welcome to the JavaScript Readiness Bridge. So I'm the lead faculty for the web developer program, which is where JavaScript is as far as the overall program that possibly some of you are taking as web developer students. But there are other students that are taking this course as well that may be taking our CIS or our CIT degree or some other degree that requires a JavaScript or a coding program course, and this course may meet that. Like, as an example, Fresno State students may be taking this as well. So what happens is in this course, because I've been teaching it for a little while, I've noticed that I try to warn students or give them the heads up, a couple weeks before the start of the semester about what they're going to need to succeed in the class. Because in order to write JavaScript, you need some kind of background. Now, students who have been in the web developer program, we have ordered the classes in a way that hopefully gives you as an example, CIT82 Intro to Web Development, CIT85 HTML and CSS. And then in those courses, you also get introduced to Git, version control, and GitHub. So if you're coming directly into 93, one of the things we don't do is we don't do prerequisites of those other courses to make it required for you to take them before taking this, because we understand that some of you are taking this to meet other program requirements. So in looking at this course, what we decided as a group, there's a team of us that work on this. I happen to lead it, but there's a team that helped me redesign the curriculum, that we decided what we'd implement is a readiness bridge. And so this readiness bridge that I'm going to go over with you in a few minutes is just that, is to help you get ready with some skills you may not have been exposed to depending on where you've come into the course. Okay, so that's the reason for this message, and let's just look at the message so you get an overview of what I'm trying to communicate here. So my name is Ria Waller. I said that before. Definitely excited you're here. So as I prepare to launch this, we approach this course in software development in the program, but also whoever comes in, as a mechanic shop. And what this means is our program is changing to integrate AI into it. But this particular course, you actually are going to need to learn to code JavaScript. And by the way, I'll just give you the heads up, this course does require a technical interview, which is why we term it a mechanic shop. You actually need to get in there and code. So because of that, we are focused on teaching you to code, but the readiness bridge helps you get to be ready to code, because as I've said before, there are some skills that you may need that you have not been exposed to depending on how you got here. Okay. So today I'm going to go over that with you. So to help you, hit the ground running when we do, and by the way, I will attempt to release some of the course somewhere in the middle of August. It officially starts August 10th, like I said, right? But I've built this readiness bridge to help you get there. So this is what I was talking about before. Depending on your comfort level, I'm going to give you some links, and I'll show you this in a minute. Now, the thing I want to say to you is that, crossing the bridge is entirely optional. These are many challenges, many, not many, but many challenges, and you can choose, to do all of them or none of them. I'm just trying to communicate to you what I suggest you do before the start of the semester to be ready to do that. Okay. So that's the announcement you'll get. So now once you come into the course, because that's what this image is here, I'm actually going to switch to the student view so you will see this, because as of this date, now this again is July 15th. Now, some of you, all of you who are enrolled at this date will get the announcement, but some of you may actually come in as you enroll in the next month. This course is going to be published with just the Readiness Bridge to give you that opportunity to go in and check it out. Okay, so just to let you know, so if you have, and by the time you, even if you're enrolled, come in, there's going to be an announcement with basically what I covered over here so that you can see what I recommend and how to work through this readiness bridge. Okay, so just to give you a little more context, so if you're in the web developer program, which I'm again giving you a little heads up is in the process of being changed to integrate AI into it, but this particular course we use AI as a tutor and not as a code generator, because you're going to learn to code in this class. So in this course, if you were in the web developer program, in addition to all the other GE, we would have hoped you've taken CIT82, the Intro to Web Development, which, by the way, once actually in about a semester will be called Intro to AI and Web Development. And you will have taken CIT85, HTML and CSS before you've ever come into this course. But because some of you have not, okay, again, this is based on the way you got here, here's what I'm going to recommend. So inside the interactive skill playground, I've given some content for crossing the cross the readiness bridge. So there's 3 particular categories I break this into, or in this case, links, okay? One is learning about the terminal. So all of us typically on modern computers are interacting with the computer in what's called the graphical user interface, the GUI. Okay, or the GUI is often called. But when we're doing development work, we're often interacting on the command line or in a terminal just from a command perspective. And so one of the things I recommend, and again, you would have gotten some of this in the other courses, is just basic terminal, how to navigate the terminal. Now, this can help you in other ways in your life. Trust me, there's going to be a point at which having some terminal is really going to be handy. And then you're going to get some Get Basics. So why we want you to have terminal is because part of this course, and it is just a good skill. I actually talked to many people outside of web development, as an example, data analytics students, cybersecurity students, who need to have some basic Git version control. Okay, and that's what we'll be using in this course. So if you've never heard of version control, you don't know about Git and GitHub, I recommend you level up on that. Now, the good news is, and I'll show you this in a minute, you only have to use one site to do this. And this site is completely free. Do not pay for it. Even if they promote, hey, do a pro level, don't do that. Okay, so and again, you can choose however much of this you want to undertake. I'm just telling you what I recommend, and I'll show you in a minute. Now, in this case, if you feel like, hey, I've taken this course, I've taken your other courses, Rio, I know about Git, I know about GitHub, I feel comfortable there, but you haven't taken CIT85, you could then jump into HTML and CSS. Now, this one and the JavaScript vocabulary is also offered from the same site, which is Free Code Camp. And I'll show you that in a minute. So there's 3 links, but there's really only 2 sites, okay? Now, for those of you that haven't had either class, these are 2 I highly recommend you find some time to work through, specifically making sure you get the Get Basics, because you could actually do that without doing the terminal, and some HTML and CSS. And then for those of you that may have had it and want to work through and start a little pre-learning on the class, you could get in and do the JS engine vocabulary. And basically, this is JavaScript basics. Okay, so let me show you what happens when you go here. So when you go to the Cody, site. You're going to have to sign up, right? You get started, create an account. Again, it needs to be, it will be completely free. And then it'll give you some interface that may look like this. And so for my journey, right, so I started, I played a little bit through section 1, and how do I know that? I went to syllabus, and section 1 was the command line, okay? And this is where you'll not necessarily learn, that what you learn in there is really how to interact with the command line, right? First, how to, and your command line also interface depends on your computer, but understanding how to navigate the command line is really what you get there. What happens when you type these commands? What does this mean? But ultimately, what we want you to get to, and this is why I'm showing you the journey click here, is we want you to get to version control, because version control is absolutely the thing that is used in this course. And you'll learn just the basics of Git, version control, and then the idea of GitHub, but also repos and commits and all these things that you'll actually need to do in week 1 of the course. You can do a little readiness for that. So let me go back here, right? Oh, back here. So these 2 concepts can be done on Kodi. And then the HTML, I'll go ahead and show you that, is actually part of Free Code Camp. Again, you'll need to set up an account, but it's completely free. No need to pay for it. Free Code Camp is a great site. So in this case, it breaks the HTML and the CSS up into 2 sections. There is also a section just for basic computer concepts in here, basics if you want. But in this case, what I suggest you do is definitely try to get to basic HTML. If you have time, get to semantic and do forms and tables, because in this course, we'll have some starting code that will be HTML, CSS, we'll build a form that actually will implement a table. So having some experience there can be really handy. And then if time allows, definitely do some basic CSS, okay? Because basic CSS is really helpful. And I would say this is as your time allows, but try to get through the basic CSS. Okay, now there's a nice interface here. It's different than the Kodi, but you can see how much I've worked through here. This is designing, let's see, where's the basic CSS here? Yeah, what is CSS? There it is. I was going to say, because I was actually doing a little mini project, which I think is great because you actually get that hands-on experience. What is CSS and what role does it play? Okay, so at this point, if you spend some time doing that, I feel you're going to be much more ready to take this course. Okay, I will reiterate, it's not required, but it will help you get through, because students often tell me when I talk to them about if they struggle in this course, they often say it was so much at one time. And I understand that. And now I'm hoping to help you understand why this is true, because of how this class is offered, and that students may come in having no experience. And let's try to give you that readiness, get you ready for the course. Okay, so the last one is actually doing a little pre-learning on JavaScript. And this link will take you to the JavaScript course, the certification. Now, again, don't recommend doing all of this. If you could do variables, strings, code clarity, you're going to build a little bot. Again, these projects are really helpful. Data types are great. Working with strings, working with loops. Yeah, here, loops. Here, arrays. So this is one of those that, because JavaScript is really, really important for web development. But because it's a programming language, and if it's your first programming language, my my suggestion is, if you have time, spend a little time just playing around in here, because you, having been exposed to some of the concepts like a variable, a function, an array, a loop, before we actually go to code them, can help you succeed once we get to the actual coding part. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, is I'm releasing this course today. It's only going to have the readiness bridge available. My goal is to release some of the course content by the 1st or somewhere in the first week of August. And I hope you have a great time this for the rest of the summer. This is a discussion board. If you're posting questions there and you're not getting a response, you can always reach out to me. I actually am traveling, doing a little bit of travel before the start of the semester, but as I see questions come in, I will do my best to reply. But also, this could be for you all to have a discussion, because some of you may already have some experience in here and can help you with that. Okay, so let me just go back to the announcement to make sure I covered everything. So I covered the idea of why the readiness, what the readiness bridge is, why we have it. You actually are going to need to learn to code in this class. I'm giving you a way to get ready for the course. It is not required for the course. It is just highly suggested depending on what experience you bring into the course. I'm glad you're here. We have a great tutor for this class. I'm here to support you once it starts. I don't do all this to make you nervous. I do all this to help you get ready and to understand that there is a system of support that we want to be here and help you, and giving you a way to get ready is one of the ways we do that. Glad you're here, and I'll talk to you soon.